to the From Chaos to Clarity Unleash Your Business Potential podcast. I am your host, Sonja Jones of GFP Financials, or Mr. Miyagi of Money, and I'm glad that you guys are here. So we are talking about today full-time entrepreneurship because, drum roll, it is not for the weak. And you got to have a plan. You got to have a plan for it. So I'm actually going to break this discussion up in two episodes, based on the what you can do on your personal side versus what you need to do from your business side. Okay. So I hope you have pen and paper because we're going to talk about a couple of things today. And a lot of what I'm talking to you about regarding this particular topic is what I actually did for myself, because I've done this not once but twice. So I left my teaching job in 2013, um, right after I remarried, and my intention was to really do like part-time work, right? So I was working at the school. I left the school, but I still had other sources of income. So I still had my piano studio income, as well as I was doing some part-time music teaching work for another private school. And then that led me to more part-time work, which was the admin job for the charter school that I ended up spending 10 years at. And that's the job that I recently left. May 25th, 2024 will be 1 full year of full-time entrepreneurship for me. So with that, there has been, some some peaks and valleys, right? Because life is gonna life. And of course, as you plan, one of my husband's favorite quotes is from Mike Tyson. It says, "Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth." So just know that when you are dealing in full time entrepreneurship, that income has to be consistent, right? And then even in there are going to be some times when you're going to get bopped in the mouth. So I wanted to just have some real candid conversation with you about how to plan. And I would definitely say this is for educational purposes only. This was how I did it, but just keep in mind too, I'm also going to be adding some things that I actually did not take into consideration as well. So, so in the event that I'm talking, like I said, make sure you're taking notes. All right. So before we get started, I do want to let you know that the information that not only am I sharing with you here is also in our free lead magnet, the Financial Freedom Roadmap. And that's basically outlining most of the same things that I'm talking to you here, but just in further detail. All right. So when we're talking about full-time entrepreneurship from the personal side, the biggest objective that you have to have is to one, replace the income that you're currently receiving in your business. And when I say your income, I'm specifically talking about your net income because that's the income that you're actually working with, right? But I'm going to stack it because the net income is just one factor of it, right? So in addition to knowing your net income, you also have to think about your benefits, right? Because if you have benefit deductions such as medical insurance, retirement, any type of supplemental disability, even garnishments, those things also have to be taken into consideration also, right? So when it comes to your health benefit deductions, you can, as a framework, start with how much your deductions are for the month, whether they deduct it weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, or whatnot, because that collective premium, you should be able to compare it and maybe shop like the marketplace or I don't know if I'm pretty sure there are other, websites for self-employed health insurance, but that's what I use. I use the marketplace, right? And just know based on the amount, it's income based. So the cheaper premiums are going to have the higher deductible. So just keep that in mind. So you want to make sure it's kind of like a healthy compromise. You want to have, when it comes to that medical insurance, something that's going to be affordable, but you also have to think of, in the event that you have to go to the hospital or something like that, are you able to pay that deductible, you know, easily? So the deductible can't be like astronomical. Still has to be something that you're able to take care of. Next thing is retirement. Okay. Whatever you are currently contributing to your retirement, see if you can still do that when you are, going into entrepreneurship full time, right? Next is your supplemental disability. I will definitely tell you, um, I went on ahead. I had Aflac and Colonial Life. I'm not getting paid for those. I'm just letting you know what I had. Um, and definitely, if I could offer you any advice, I would say read those policies to see if you're actually going to be experiencing possibly any of those circumstances after you leave your job, right? Because there was one particular policy that I had, and I ran into a circumstance. I thought that I was able to file a claim, and I wasn't. So, of course, me, I'm thinking I just paid y'all 12 months of insurance, for nothing, right? So make sure that you read those policies and just be honest with yourself. Do you feel like you're going to be able to use those? If not, then it might be an option for you to let them go. Garnishments. Now, this is what I will say about um, garnishments. If it's something that's like state issued, things like that, I know they primarily come, for employers, right? But because you are, self-employed, you still want to make sure that you are contributing and paying something directly to those bill collectors and things like that. I would even probably make them aware of your transition and see if there are any provisions made for self-employed individuals. Right? You never know. And then also you have to think about the fact that when you are stacking on your net income, your health benefit deductions, retirement deductions, disability if you keep it, and then garnishments, that big old total has to come from the profit of your business, right? So that means once you get your sales and after all your expenses, are taken care of, you will be paid from whatever that net profit is in your business. So if you're looking at your P&L, the number that you need to replace all your income plus benefits needs to come from that bottom line. And what is ideal is that, like, say, if it takes $5,000 a month for you to not only replace your income but to take care of all the benefits, I would say your profit will probably need to be at least between $8,000 and $10,000, right? So your business won't be like totally depleted of cash flow, right? So just kind of take that into consideration. And then also depending on the how your business entity is set up, whether you are a sole proprietor, a single member LLC. Hey y'all, imagine this. You leaving your job to pursue full-time entrepreneurship, and 30 days later, two large tree branches from your backyard tree hit your home, resulting in a 6-month renovation process. So, you know what? That happened to me. But I'm so glad that I was able to plan properly from that transition, that my family's lifestyle wasn't severely impacted. To my side hustle CEOs out there, if you are seriously thinking about full time entrepreneurship, I got 4 words for you. You need a plan. In my ebook, The Financial Freedom Roadmap, I'm walking you guys through my journey, giving you 5 tips on how to not only plan for your exit the financially smart way, but most importantly, it is not going to, I hope so, to reduce any major disruptions to your family's lifestyle. So if you're interested in that free ebook, click the link below And I look forward to working with you, and I would love your feedback. Take care. When you pay yourself, it'll actually be in the form of an owner's draw. So there won't be any payroll taxes or payroll liabilities. However, if you are LLC and you are taxed to take the S corp election or you're a corporation, it's a requirement for you to have payroll, right? So if you put yourself on payroll and, like I said, you're an LLC that takes the S corp election or you're a corporation and you put yourself on payroll, then especially like for your garnishments, you'll start getting notifications once you put yourself on payroll, and you'll just uh, process those garnishments through your payroll in that aspect, right? But of course, as always, make sure that you talk to a tax professional to see what would be the best entity strategy for you as you're going into full-time entrepreneurship, right? So that's step one, determine your replacement income from your job. Step two, you got to create a budget. Okay. I started preparing probably a little bit over a year, right? So in 2022, I knew that I was planning to, transition out of my job the following year, right? So with that in your budget, you got to make sure that you're tracking your income, your expenses, and your savings. So this is what I did. So every pay period, right? Because my husband and I got paid bi-weekly. I took our, net income, right? And then I had a spreadsheet of all of our bills for the month. So I had on one column the day in which those bills were paid or auto drafted, the name of the bill and the amount, right? So if we got paid on the 15th, so all of the bills that were drafted between the 15th and the 1st, I had them listed. And then whatever was left from that, that would go into the savings and or will be used to pay off, credit card debt and stuff like that, right? You got to have a savings. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Save as much as you possibly can, right? Because what happened to us, um, I left May 25th, 2023, and June 25th, 2023, we had a storm in our area, and they said it was kind of like tornado like wind, and we had a big old tree in our backyard, and two of the branches from that tree fell on top of our house, and it severed um, the chimney in our living room. So a part of the ceiling from the living room in the chimney, there was a big old hole, like you could actually see, it broke, right? And it also did some severe roof damage on different parts of the house and stuff like that. It damaged the garage, all of that, to the point where, not say that the house wasn't inhabitable, but it was definitely an inconvenience to, you know, have tarp on your roof and then see that big old hole in your living room, right? And the worst part about all of that was our home insurance did not cover for us to cut the tree down, right? They would only cover it if the entire tree had fallen on the house. So praise God that that was not the case, but it cost us five figures to get that tree cut down because it required a crane because the tree was so big. It required a crane for the tree removers to get the crane put up in our driveway to reach over and cut the big parts of the tree and stuff like that. So needless to say, most of our savings went to cutting that tree down a month after I left my job. Right. So needless to say, we did a lot of pivoting, but we still made it. We had to, um, definitely cut some things and stuff like that. But we still here, right? So that's why I'm saying, if you don't do nothing else, save, save, save. If you have to pick up some other, obligations, some other income opportunities, just to make sure that you pad your savings, do that, right? But I would realistically, um, whatever your plan is, especially for saving, I would give it no less than a year. No less than a year. Unless you come into a windfall of money and you can go ahead and plan accordingly. Give yourself a minimum of a year. Okay? Because it's what you want to do. You want to make sure when you do leave your job, you remember you still got a family to take care of, you still got obligations. You want to have a peace of mind. If you're going to make a significant transition like that, you don't want to wake up the next day like, oh Lord, how are we going to pay this? How are we going to eat? Stuff like that. If that's the case, you just might as well stay at work, right? Because now that's affecting your mental and emotional health, right? So let's recap. So we got 1, determine your replacement income, including all your benefits and deductions. 2, create a budget, right? Those are the 2 major things that I'm talking about today. All right. So in an ideal situation, right, look at how you can whittle down and cut from your current spending while you're still at your job so you can save more, right? Because when we're talking about, how can we maximize and optimize our budgets, it's only one of 2 ways, right? You got to increase your income or decrease your expenses. So go ahead and get your plan in place. And then also, you want to make sure that you take care of as much debt as possible before you transition. That's why I said a minimum a year. You would be doing yourself a huge service if you transition and not having any debt outside of maybe your mortgage and your car note. Right? No credit card debt, no outstanding loans, no personal loans and stuff like that. That would be the best situation humanly possible, right? And in addition to having, some cash reserves for you as well, right? So that is what I want to share with you for part 1 of the full-time entrepreneurship episode. Again, if you have not accessed our financial freedom roadmap, make sure that you get it. It's a cool ebook. And then in addition to that, we'll be sending you follow-up emails just talking about, some of the tips that were outlined in the ebook as well. All right. So I hope that you are eager for episode 2. So that's coming up next. Again, I'm Sonja Jones of GFP Financial Show, Mr. Miyagi Money, and thank you for tuning in to the From Chaos to Clarity, Unleash Your Business Potential podcast. Take care, y'all.
Thank y'all so much for listening to the From Chaos to Clarity, Unleash Your Business Potential podcast. Again, I'm Sonja Jones of GFP Financials. You're Mr. Miyagi Money, but I got a couple of homework assignments for you before you leave this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also leave a comment and let us know what your biggest takeaways were from this episode. And if you are looking for bookkeeping assistance or you need a money thought buddy, make sure that you go to our website, www.gipfinancials.com, and click on the schedule a consultation button at the top of our website, little green box. And you can schedule a discovery call and talk to one of our teammates to see if we're a good fit. All right. See you guys on the next episode. Take care.